hello everyone. Oh, I didn't edit who's on today's stream here, but for before we go ahead and go into these quarterfinals, I wanted to do a little interview. Thanks to Nathaniel Lanier, he had this great idea. So today I have with me Adam Suki, representative for the Mingos here before this quarterfinals. Say hello
Oh,
to
oh, hello there.
yeah, and
Good to be on the
so
stream.
yeah, good to have you, man. Good to have you. I mean, the infamous Mingos, who's almost a nobody team. Like no one heard of you guys until like the summer showdown we did. Like that one little one shot tourney we had, and yeah, how about we just jump right into it? And then who are you guys? Who are the Mingos? How do you guys know each other, and how you like ended up on a team together playing in the GRLCS season 14 split?
We're just some pals. We've played League of Legends together in the past. Who the Mingos are, that's not really important. The important question is who can stop the Mingos?
Yeah, you do have a point there. I mean, if we're looking over at the standings, Mingos currently are sitting at a solid 7-0. So you guys are number one seed right now. The only reason, and since we have so many teams, the reason why you guys aren't just like automatically into the semifinals, you actually have to play off some matches because we have so many teams. So first seed's going against UCO, who's the fourth seed of the other side of the darkened. Pretty interesting stuff to see. And let's jump right into it. So, well, there was a little bit of a thing I saw over in the staff chat, but you guys wanted to change your logos into something. I'll bring it up on screen for you guys right here once I switch it over. It's a little bit of unreleased Mingos logo here. It's can you go into depth with like the whole like the bowling ball vegan peanut butter whole shtick about that?
Yeah, of course. So, each item in the arm represents one of the Mingos, right?
Okay.
I'm the tongs. I think Gabe's the peanut butter because he's a vegan.
Oh.
Rally's a bowling ball or something. I don't remember the other two.
Yeah, fair, fair. I mean, it's a rifle, and then there's like a it's like it's one of the barbecue forks. I forgot
Yeah,
what
the
exactly what it's
barbecue
called,
fork. That's
but yeah,
probably Chandler.
that's quite a symbol to look at there, and then just the general, just the giant octopus right there, as well. What do you get? So before so we still have a little bit of time, what do you so you guys are just it's not, you said it's like not very important to know who exactly is the Mingos, but um I mean, it's still like how what do you guys do for like practices and whatnot? Like sometimes when we're watching your games, it's quite, yeah. I don't want to say shocker because like after the Reign of Kings game that you guys had, that nearly hour long game that me and Asami had the pleasure of casting, that was really just I was just tearing my hair out basically when I was watching it. I was like, "What's happening? This comeback of the century!" And you guys were able to make that one out. So what do you guys do? Do you guys just like play like flex queue with each other sometimes? You use like and decide it's like, hey, let's jump into a competitive or somewhat competitive
Yeah,
league.
so, we all kind of hate League of Legends, so we don't really play it. That's why a lot of series will just drop the first game because we're all warming up, and then, maybe 40 minutes into game two, we wake up and decide to play. Uh, Sometimes we play some flex queue though.
Okay, all right. So it's just generally just playing some games together. Nothing too rigorous. Like you're not out here looking for scrims and whatnot.
Yeah, before our coach gave up on us, or our support, Gabe Kochke, he used to put some scrims together, but then we used to just troll all of them, and just gave up and stopped putting any effort into the team. You know how it goes.
Ah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, in true I mean, like the Mingos fashion is like you don't practice how you play, you practice to have fun, and then when you play, you're out here for blood. You're out for blood. Is the way
Yeah,
I look
yeah,
at it.
work hard, play hard, or something like that.
Something like that. But all right, so before we go ahead and finish off this interview, what who should we look out for? What should we expect in this game for Mingos versus UCO?
All right, so I'm just gonna drop the whole strat here. We're gonna pick Pies Sejuani and send it top. That's the strat. We're playing Sejuani top.
Now that's some tech. That is some tech. You know, some people say that League of Legends is a mental warfare type of game, but that is some tech right there. Just picking up the Sejuani and then going top lane. Now that is something. All
Yeah,
right.
so get ready, Pi. It's ours.
All right. Well, thanks for having going on the stream for a little bit for that interview. We'll be looking forward to the game here. I'm going to be switching you out for over for UCO's side, which is going to be Jazzman. You guys, I know you guys had some interactions with him over in the Plat chat before, so I'm going to be having him in the stream, and then we'll watch some games. And afterwards, whoever wins, I'll be having you guys back on stream if you're all right with it. Whoever wins, and to give your final thoughts about the game, what you think was the highlights and whatnot. So, thanks for coming, and I'll be moving you right back over here.
Thanks for having me. Good luck, have fun, UCO.
All right, see ya. And moving on forward, let's grab Jazzman. Hello.
Hey man, what's up?
Hey, this is Let's Go Dragon. We are on stream right now. Let me go ahead and put some background music so it's not just us talking. But I do want to ask you a couple questions for this interview. How are you feeling about the game so far? Like, what are your thoughts in general for what's happening for this
Okay,
team?
so I think our team is pretty confident.
Okay.
We have a Vietnamese import ADC, so I think we
Oh.
have an import gap on them. But yeah. Um, Other than that, man, it could be a 50-50, but the import gap's gonna carry us.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
actually Vietnamese myself, so that's funny that you mentioned that. But okay, so who are the UCO Broncos, and like, are you guys like an esports team that's tied to a college or anything, or are you guys just like picking up a name and whatnot?
So we are a college team
Oh,
in
okay.
Edmond, Oklahoma. Um, Originally the team was pretty much like a club organization started by
Hmm.
uh, a bronze 3 ADC player with just hopes and dreams.
Okay.
um,
All right.
but recently though there has been bills posted about making it like actual like sports organization to get actual funding, so we're supposed to get like 2 coaches um, in the uh, uh, incoming semester.
Okay, that's pretty cool. You guys are elevating a little bit, getting some coaches, and I've heard that you guys are like entering multiple leagues, and this is one of them that you guys kind of like, or at least there's some parts of it that you like, some parts of it you don't. But in any
Yeah.
case, what are your practices are going to be looking like? I know right now. You said that you don't necessarily have those coaches, but you're going to get some coaches in.
Yeah.
What do you think the practices are looking like right now? Are we seeing like scrims, VOD reviews, or just like flex queuing like the Mingos do?
So currently our practice schedule is twice a week for about like 3 hour sessions, but we do play like as friends and stuff, like ranked games. I get
Mhm.
griefed by my top laner in like every ranked game. But
Oh,
yeah, but so we normally just flex queue, work on comps and stuff, like practice individual mechanics, like some days we'll do communication and then comps and then split pushing, trying to keep ICS,
yeah, of course. Okay.
individual stuff like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully
of
the
course. I
coaches
mean,
help
you're
us.
yeah,
Yeah.
working on general team comps, looking on like if you guys for communications, making sure that everyone's being aware of whatever's on the map and whatnot. It's nice to do. And so, what do you think we should be on the lookout for specifically? I mean, this interview is going by a lot faster than I was thinking with else. But well, yeah, what are you thinking about the what should we be on the lookout for? I mean, we heard Domingos talk about how their secret tech is that they're going to be picking up Sejuani and sending a top lane. A little bit of a meme right there. But um,
I
what do you
wouldn't
have you
blame them.
guys? Yeah, what do you guys have? What should the viewers at home be looking out for when we're seeing this game versus the UCO versus the Mingos?
So other than our import ADC player, and our handsome support player. Man, they're a great duo.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I think our top lane will pop up. He's
Okay.
pretty known for keeping like extremely high CS and macro. But
Okay.
mid, I'm honestly not sure. It's always hit or miss.
Yeah.
I play like maybe like 3-4 champs, so it's always nice.
Hey,
But
I went through Xerath, and it works for me sometimes. I mean, Riot's going above Xerath in the next patch, so like
he's getting
it's
ultra
working
buff.
sometimes. Yeah, exactly.
Getting
That
ultra buff.
I'm gonna love it whenever that happens. But in any case, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how you guys do. You guys did. Uh, I don't want to say it sound like like you guys are lucky being, but like you guys are making it in by like the skin of your teeth here.
Oh yeah, of
As
course.
the fourth place, just because Depth Card's team kind of split off in the middle of the
Yeah.
split. But in any case, I mean, this could be you guys are basically, I would say, the underdog story, just because you guys did make it in by your skin of the teeth. So I am a fan of the Mingos, but I'm also a fan of the underdog story. So I'll be rooting for you guys over here on the caster's desk.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming in for this interview.
Of course.
Yeah, so good luck. Make sure you got your team, get your A game on, and good luck against the Mingos, dude.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So see you later. We're gonna be moving you out.
Okay.
Alright. So that was the quick interviews. This one's much shorter than the other one, who didn't have much to really necessarily play off of. But hey, that's just fine. We still have a very exciting match to go for, because there is a little bit of a little hyphy sort of thing going on between Mingos and UCO, and I'm actually personally excited to see how it goes with Mingos currently undefeated team. I'm wondering how they'll go, and if they'll be able to match up against UCO and whatever, and their a little bit more organized team play. If yeah, I'm just interesting to see. So before we go ahead and enter the games, we still have about 10 more minutes for the teams to really get here, and I don't think UCO is necessarily ready just yet, which is just fine. We scheduled the game for 8 o'clock, so I'll be switching this over to be right back, turning up the music, and then we'll be jumping into the games with my co-caster, which tonight is going to be Kin. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with some exciting games tonight. Hello. We're just not going to do a webcam, just letting you know. But we're going right into this. They already did their drafts in draft.lol, so now we're going to be watching this champ. So that's what's going on here. It's going to be quite interesting here because we have the Mingos over on our left side versus the UCO Broncos.
And if you weren't here for the pre-match interviews, there's some pretty spicy picks that were supposed to be coming out. I do expect the Mingos to hold their promise and pick the Sejuani top lane. So it has not been banned out, and it looks like they will be picking it up as their first pick.
Yeah, they did it. they, they're at actually did it. I can't believe it. They now Cowboys picking up the Volibear in response. This is not exactly the order and actually what they drafted, but we're just going to narrate on how we see it right now. Seeing Volibear also picked up Lilia, Nocturne, and Seraphine. What do you think about these picks up so far for either side?
Well, honestly, Volibear a very strong top laner as of now, and he's also fairly tanky. He's a good duelist early on, so it works very well into the Sejuani, especially since Sejuani is a melee champion. Volibear can very easily target that and punish the farming in the early game.
Absolutely. Punishing some farming in the early game. Sejuani, I don't think is necessarily a strong top laner at this moment. They did nerf a lot of her damage a while back. Just because whenever she was like one of the stronger junglers, so actually banning away or having the Sejuani top lane is going to be interesting to see if Nathaniel Lanier is able to really pick it up against OK Cowboys on this Volibear top lane. And then for jungle, we're seeing Nocturne, something we also don't see too much with Lilia, which we do actually see quite often.
And as of now, I think Nocturne can contest Lydia in the wave clear, but as the game goes on, if Nocturne does not manage to get any of those good ultis, that blind kind of just is good for team fights, but it is not as useful as the 5-man sleep that Lydia can potentially get. And it just opens up the game a lot more for Lydia, allows her to scale later into the game as long as the UC Broncos don't necessarily fall behind. This should be a pretty easy game for Lydia.
Absolutely. So these are the teams. Let's now talk over to the mid lane. We're saying Seraphine versus Yone. Matchup that is not too, or we don't see Yone too often. Just because he is a little bit more of a scaling mid laner, not exactly the same way that Corki is, because but in a sense that kind of like Yasuo, he has some strong points in the game, but you're really looking for like this 2-item power spike, or as the classic 10 death Yasuo Yone thing goes, two items is really where you shine with Yone, because that's whenever you're having your max CDR for your Q. It's going to be interesting to see how the Jasmine is going to be piloting that against Rally here.
And yeah, I think we're gonna figure out the most important part of the game right here and right now. After the spectator delay, of course. But I think one of the most important parts of the game is the skin selection. We're gonna have to wait 2-3 minutes until we get into the game. But honestly, skins win games. If you choose the better skins, you're obviously gonna win the game. It's nothing. It has nothing to do with skill. And let's see how the skins turn out in a few.
Absolutely. Now, but since we still have 2.5 more minutes left to go talk about it, let's look at this bot lane, which we so far ignored. No offense, just we wanted to go from top to bottom. We also didn't talk too much about the band, so we have plenty to talk about left in the game here. Tristana and Morgana over side of Mingos is an interesting pickup here. What is your insight about Tristana and Morgana bot lane?
Assuming that Leona was picked earlier into the draft, Morgana is a very good counter to that. Morgana practically makes the whole Leona kit useless if she black shields the correct person. She can use her sword to get close to you, but Leona doesn't have any CC, doesn't have uh, anything to really do aside from like auto attack once she's up in personal with you. And Morgana, a very good pick into this Leona. And Tristana works fairly well with Morgana. If Morgana manages to land a bind, Tristana can jump onto her, stack her bombs fairly easily as long as there is this Hell Blades build that Tristana has been building. And on the other side, if Leona manages to catch the person who does not have the black shield, Kaisa can rush in, get a quick cast of her passive, and deal some massive damage.
Absolutely, can do a lot indeed. But not to say that UCO Broncos isn't knocked out of it as well. I mean, Kaisa does some magic damage, so if Geikochiki does mistime some of these shields, it is going to be quite damaging over for them. Because Kaisa can go ahead and just do a couple 1-2 auto attacks, and it's just going to be popping that black shield before Leona is really affected by that. And then Leona has a perfect opportunity to go in because of that longer cooldown that she has to deal with. So maybe this bot lane is going to be a little bit of a matchup where Gabe Kochki has to try to be wary that Kaisa is going to be doing that magic damage in order to break this shield, or maybe not really going to have to worry because Gage Kochki maybe just has the APM of a god and is just going to be hitting that immediately over on Tristana whenever Leona looks like she's going to be pulling up, or maybe Plethora is just going to have some great baits.
And APM would matter a little bit more if they were playing something like Katarina, which you don't necessarily see in these kind of in this division. But honestly, Katarina just mash your keyboard, win game. But since it is going to be the Morgana, it still does matter a lot. It's that reaction time, that APM onto the black shield, onto the root, in order to secure safety of your laner. And it's going to really determine how the bot lane matchup goes.
Absolutely. So now Spectator Delay is done. We didn't get to talk about the bans here, but all good bans nonetheless. We're seeing Rel, Galio, Sejuani. I think I saw Diana, Anna, Vladimir all banned away because I think the mid laner is a Vladimir one trick over for the side of UCO. So good one to take away there. Now let's look at these skins.
And right now, the first one that catches my eye is El Rayo Bolivar. It's basically an overgrown cannon. Very interesting to see, but I don't necessarily know who won in the skin department. We have 4 skins on both sides, with the mid laner of the Mingos not having skin and the ADC of the UCO Broncos not having a skin. So I'm pretty sure mid lane is won for UCO Broncos, and ADC is lost for UCO Broncos just because of the skin game.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we do have the Lunar Eclipse Leona to make up for that fact, so it's not all bad things here. But let's see. We're actually going to be looking at something a little bit interesting here. That we're seeing a 5-set going to this top lane. They're being aggressive with this one. We'll see
And
if
there's
they
going to be
actually
a
pans out.
5-man here in the top lane. They might be able to catch out this Volibear. The sweeper goes out. Volibear respects it. The Dark Bind lands onto him. Knockup past the flash out over the wall. And that's no flash with the enemy top laner. Very well played by the side of the Mingos.
Well played indeed. Now that you don't have to worry about Cowboy's flash, he can't be as aggressive as he wants to against Nathaniel Lanier, which is unfortunate. But in any case, it's still a Bolivar. He's going to be dueling pretty well here. They're going to have to give up a little bit of this bot side, but we might just see some vertical jungling because of that. So maybe we're going to be seeing Pei is going to be going from the blue buff over down to the enemy red buff and just get some vertical jungling, staying around this bot side, maybe even looking for an early gank in this bot side too.
And the UCO Broncos do respond to that by warding in the enemy jungle, having 2 great wards, able to spot out Adam Suki if he does decide to walk down towards here. He basically has no entrance but the mid lane entrance towards this bottom jungle. And honestly, should be a pretty interesting matchup to see, and this might be just vertical jungling as you mentioned before, depending on how the junglers decide to path here.
Yeah, absolutely. Will just depend on how each side wants to go here. Nothing too interesting to note, just out of build-wise. I mean, everyone is going pretty much standard, than Jasmine grabbing the Doran shield, but it makes sense. He's against a ranged laner. He wants to be able to heal up, want to sustain.
And Plethora might be wanting to do something here in the bot lane, just CSing for now, but it's the level 2 advantage for the side of the UCO Broncos. Nothing's going to happen just yet, and it's a little disappointing. The level 2 advantage is one of the biggest power spikes for these bot laners, and the fact that she did not engage might put them behind, as the enemy team does have a stronger level 2.
Yeah, it will be a little detrimental, but I mean, like, it's not hurting the most. You haven't necessarily done anything to stop you guys, but pushing in this wave is also going to be pretty good because it is a Tristana. Having trouble farming under tower is definitely something that is always very known for Tristanas. Can't really push out lanes too well here. And it looks like we did not see Pei opt in to try to do any vertical jungling. Actually, just going to be letting up that red buff because they did go ahead and do that invade there.
And at the top lane, we have a small little brawl that happening. The stun manages to land, and the thunder calling also lands. They're going to quickly disengage as both of the laners go down to half HP.
Yeah, both laners are going to be getting a little bit lower, but I mean, still in a pretty comfortable spot. I would say, okay, Cowboy is a little bit better just because he is playing that more traditional top laner, and being even is a pretty nice spot. We'll just have to see how Nathaniel Laner does in this lane, though. Anything could happen here over here, and we'll just have to see.
And Pi might be looking for something here in the top side. The engage goes onto Nathaniel Laner. Nathaniel Laner falling very low, manages to land the counter CC, and Lilia was not there in time. Pi unable to really do anything there, just throws the bowling ball up there, as we see in the map. But fairly disappointing to see the Lilia not necessarily engaged right there. It would have been a pretty secure kill onto Nathaniel Laner, since he was already CC'd. He was down to less than half HP, but the rotation wasn't there, and the kill was not secured.
Kill was not secured, but in any case, we do have the OK Cowboys up in CS here, which is going to be pretty nice. I mean, there's not too much talk about here, especially because we're not dealing with a lot of early game junglers. We actually look two junglers that do a lot of damage. They just can't necessarily get in there as easily as other ones. Pei still has an easier way to get in there, just because the bowling ball with the slow, and then a little bit of a leap thanks to one of the abilities. I don't actually know what all of Lilia's abilities, but in any case, here comes the engage.
And the pull lands through, but Black Shield manages to stop the damage. Ignite goes down into Gabe Kushki, and the jump goes over from Chandler Clark. Chandler Clark looking for another one, and Plethora is in a tough position. She is Leona, immobile. Once she tries to get out, she can only really go in, and it's going to be one kill for the ADC and one kill for Adam Suki.
Yeah, it is going to be a 2 for none over on the side of the Mingos here. Pretty nicely done for you guys. Good gank coming out. You don't normally see a Nocturne gank, but an in-lane gank coming out from Adam Suki is going to be boosting up their gold score. We do have a prediction going on here. And I did bet, but I do have another account where I can actually go ahead and complete the prediction if anyone wants to do that. I ain't logged into the official account, so no worries on that end whenever we do get to that 15-minute mark here. But right now, it's still pretty close. The gold lead is about 1.7k in the favor of Mingos right now. That's due to just a lot of the farming from difference in the mid lane, and then the two kills that we just saw from the bot lane. Moving on forward here, we're looking to see how these builds are going to go here. Rally, I'm interested to see if Rally is going to be keeping opted in for the Moonstaff build, even though it was nerfed to be more of a support item rather than a mid lane item. It's even getting a buff nets patch, which is a little bit signaling on how weak it is currently in terms of healing power as a fact.
And Pei may be looking for something here in the top lane. Decides to just continue his recall, and could have been something potentially good, but Pei decides to respect this and just back off.
Don't want to push any luck here. Don't want to try to give him any outs necessarily, especially with Nathaniel Laner. He does still have his slash available, so you don't want to burn anything that you don't need to. Since Pei is not level 6 yet, don't want to be burning anything without being able to actually guarantee a kill there. Just going to be going back, getting a reset here, but here comes
But it's going to be the Nightmare coming out. This Nocturne looking for something here, and Adam managed to pick up the kill. Plethora managed to land a stun under tower, getting Chandler down to some HP. Pei is down here looking for something else as well. Adam Suki might be in a some situation as Plethora managed to land the stun, but Chandler jumps over the wall, uses his rocket to secure one kill onto Pei. Pei managed to fall down to the hands of Chandler. Chandler is in a sub situation now that Jazzman has used this Yone ulti onto Chandler. Chandler should be pretty safe here with the Morgana, but Jazzman continues to go in, securing another kill for his team.
Yeah, still going to be getting that, but that is at the end of the day. I think it was a 3 for 2. In fact, yeah, 3 for 2 because Adam Suki did die in the end of there, as was Chandler. So still pretty good over for the side of Mingos. They are pretty far ahead with their Tristana here, opting in to finish in those Berserker Greaves. So we're looking at a lot of attack speed from this Tristana, which means we're going to see maybe some more of these quicker trades here. But first, we're on the mid lane.
The mid lane, they're going to Rally. Rally having to walk away, but he might be in a tough situation as OK Cowboys heals in the top lane. He gets stunned. The Chomp is looking to go out to an encore, manages to land onto 2. and Adam Suki is here to respond, but Jasmine has some massive damage, and OK Kettle Boy secures 1 kill as they're looking onto Adam Suki. Adam Suki doing his best, smiting the Scuttle to get some extra damage, but it's going to be this Sunfire explosion around Leona that secures the kill onto Adam Suki.
Yeah, what does that even do for them? And not going to be going out so well over for the Mingos. They are going to be losing out 2 kills here. Adam Suki is gonna fall there alongside of Rally, which is pretty unfortunate. But for UCO, might be what they need. They're closing out this gold lead now. Just by bits. We're going to still see some upkeep in this farm department in order to actually make sure that we're keeping up with it. But for now, we're just going to be chilling out a little bit here, looking at where the goal differences here. Combat power-wise, we still have Chandler Clark in a pretty powerful position, but Duckwind is a pretty good scaling. Kai'Sa is, I would definitely say, one of the hyper carries that could definitely make it into the later parts of the game, but we'll have to just see if we can actually make it to that later part of the game if Duckwind can scale a little bit faster than the Tristana can, as she's currently 3 kills over Duckwind right now.
And yeah, it's kind of just it's a little heartbreaking for the side of the UCO Broncos that Plethora has these 2 kills here in the bot lane. Like, yeah, Kai'Sa did die before anything could be picked up by her, but ideally they could have gone into a Pei or Jasmine. We have the Sunfire Aegis coming down. Faded Steel is available for Jasmine. Jasmine manages to land that completely, and Jasmine will be picking up his 2nd kill onto the enemy mid laner, and Rally will be having a hard time in this lane.
Yeah, Rally is going to be having a little bit of a harder time now, especially with these 2 kills given over to Jasmine. This is what you want to see on a Yone, since typically we all meme about the Yasuo Yone 10 death power spike, but that's because that's whenever you have 2 items plus boots as a Yone, which is a good power spike to have, just because typically that's whenever you have your Mats CDR for your Q alongside a 100% crit chance. That's all the things you want to have. And Jasmine having these 2 kills is just going to accelerate that game plan, looking like he's going to pick up a Mortal Shield bow. Good choice for this game. And then probably an IE right after, so really make sure that he's dishing out a lot of this damage. First Drake goes over to the Mingos.
As it stands right now, Chandler is actually down in CS to Duckwind, but Duckwind having to farm to keep up with the gold that Chandler Clark has. But why do you need to farm minions when you can just farm kills? And as it stands right now, I'm pretty sure that Chandler does have more gold simply because he has more kills and more kill presence in this game.
Yeah, if we go ahead and look at the gold differences, top lane is pretty much dead even, actually 100 gold in the favor of Nathaniel laner just because of the little bit of CS he has over him, even though Cattleboys has a kill and an assist. That's just how the gold is. It's pretty much evening now because Nathaniel laner is out of lane, but for jungle we're seeing about a 1k difference over in side of Mingos. And the mid lane we have 200 over in favor of Jasmine.
The dark shield manages to block this completely, and the dark binding lands. They might be looking to turn this around. Rally waiting for his front line to get there. Bowling ball does land, but there's a vision onto Pei. Pei goes on, gets encored, and she just runs away with the Lilia running at Mach 10. Jasmine might be in a tough situation here as Adam Suki's looking for a tower dive, but the tower is there to protect him, and Adam Suki having to waste Chandler Clark's heal in order to get out alive.
Yeah, able to get out alive, however, in any case, and the mid lane tower is still
continues. Void Seeker goes down, manages to land perfectly on Nathaniel Lantern, and he's now running away, but this fight is not over just yet as Chandler does manage to land the full stack onto Plethora. Plethora looking to turn this around, and Duckwind is not there. It does not have enough damage to really do anything, and it's going to be 1 kill over for the side of the Mingos.
Yeah, it is going to be the kill over side of the Mingos. So it was a little bit, I mean, overall, I'd say that was still very good for the Mingos, even if they didn't get the kill at the end there, just because they have a lot of turret platings coming down. Sure, it's split up against a lot of people, however, so it's like it give or take about even. But this mid lane tower is now down to its final plating, and Chandler Clark even getting some turret platings for himself in this bot lane too. Still very good for them. And you can see how it's translating if you're looking over at the gold differences here. We're seeing about 2.4k in the gold benefiting the Mingos right now. So it's still looking pretty good for them. Still have a couple more minutes before I go ahead and close out this this prediction, but we'll see here. Atsuki is in the mid lane. He doesn't have ulti just yet, but I don't know if he wants to do this just yet.
Shield is available for the Yone, but he does not decide to pursue it further. It's a 2v1, and he might be able to just give up his tower here. Tower will be falling down and going to the side of the Mingos.
That's first tower gold as well, so a lot going in for the side of the Mingos right now. 3k gold, so we're seeing about an item difference overall. Just like if you combine everyone's gold difference and everyone else on the other side, that's one item's worth of gold that they have over on the side of the Mingos. Really nice to have. Tower platings are down now, so we're not going to be seeing as much money given out. But still, 3k gold over aside for the Mingos. This is quite a bit of power that they have under their belt, and it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to be using that. We've seen Adamsuki already building the Strikebreaker, so he has that under his belt to really make sure he's sticking onto whoever he's hitting with his ulti. And now the Gale Force also completed by Channel Clark. Really nice item to have over on Tristana, where it gives you that little extra mobility you need in order to dodge away from Pei's abilities, away from Jasmine, away from OK Cattle Boys, away from Leona. Just really nice to have. Also, a little bit of extra damage if you want to use it for that.
And around this point of the game, you usually have the junglers giving the laners blue buff, but since Jasmine is Yone, he has no true need for it. However, we're not gonna see Adamsuki giving Seraphine the blue buff unless he just holds it there for a couple of seconds, and no, he's just gonna secure it for himself, and maybe look to snowball further in the jungle, as he is a 1 level up on Pei and does have these 2 extra kills on.
And now it's past the 15-minute mark, and the Mingos still have the gold lead for themselves. I've already completed the prediction, so there goes the points. I'm actually just trying to get rid of all my points, but unfortunately, I am the one that is correct in this case. So there it goes. Ooh,
and Nathaniel Lanner's ultimate goes wrong. He's gonna look to turn into Rally. Rally continuing going down. Encore landing onto one member of the UCO Bronchos. Fate Shield is no longer available for Jasmine, as he has used it, but it's not going to be enough damage here. He will be falling down to the side of Chandler. Chandler looking for more, but he's going to be CC'd for a while. Healing is no longer available, but they can look to turn this around. Stormbreaker has gone down, and the root going on to OK Cattle Boys. OK Cattle Boys might be in a tough situation here, as he does fall down to the side of Adamsuki. Adamsuki picking up a double kill here, and he goes for a third, but it's going to be Nathaniel Laner who gets this kill.
Quite a bit going out right there for the Mingos. They are able to get a team ace practically over for their side. I realize my mouse is over under the camera, my bad. But yeah, they are able to pick up an ace there. And the Mountain Drake is going to be infernal this game, but we'll have to see. It's not exactly over yet for UCO Broncos. They still have ways to get back into this game here. They have plethora out if they want to try to look for more of a pick sort of situation here, if they get, so they can try to find some avenues to get this money back into the game here. Daniel Linear is 2-0 and 4 right now, so he's not terribly strong, but he's still quite a Sejuani. He is going to be that annoying threat in a lot of these team fights. As for Rally, it looks like he's going to be opting in for the Landry's Anguish instead of the Moonstaff sort of build. You want to be doing some of this damage alongside of the team, especially considering that he is going to be most of the AP damage for his team anyways.
And going back to Plethora is playing Leona, which is really good in games that are even or slightly ahead, but now that her team has fallen behind, Plethora will not be able to do as much engaging as she should be able to, because if she goes into a situation, there is not enough damage to secure a kill unless it's 1v3. So they have to be aware of catching out people, like you said before, and making sure that they are not cut out themselves, because Leona is basically useless without numbers advantage.
Yeah, it is going to be quite the stakes here. We're over at the Herald now. Adamsuki knocking down over to here, looking to try to make a fight happen here, and Nathaniel on the outside of this as well. So they're looking for something.
Nathaniel later go to the wall, managed to land the CC, and it's going to be the Nightmare going down onto Pei falling down to the hands of Adamsuki yet again, and it's going to be the solo flare to try to disengage, but it's this change CC from Nathaniel Laner on this Sejuani doing some massive damage. The Fate Shield going down into 2 members, managed to execute one of them, and they're looking to turn this around. Ducky Wind does not have enough damage, and he does not have enough mobility. Rally's looking to turn this around, but it's going to be OK Cattle Boys on the backline. Stormbreaker falling down. And this will be this Encore manages to land onto 2 members, but Jazzman focusing Nathaniel later and will manage to get the shutdown here. Rally on the run, and he will be able to get away with this movement speed that that this laner does have.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a turning point for them. I mean, 6k gold lead, he has shortened up a little bit here. It's not as big as it used to be, but
and they might be
UCO.
looking to turn onto Rally here. Duckwin and OK Cowboys are in position, but Chandler Clark walking down, securing the Seraphine to play a little bit more aggressive. And as you were saying, this was a turning point for the side of the UCO Broncos. Plethora might have caught out something here. Rally has to walk away, but it's going to be the jump going on to Duckwin. Duckwin is but he will be able to fall down to Chandler. Chandler gets his reset off, goes over the wall, has to flash away from OK Cattle Boys. And it's going to be this Nightmare coming yet again onto OK Cattle Boys. And he's going to be 2-shot by the Tristan. And now they're looking to turn onto this Leona. Leona has no numbers advantage. And that's a triple kill going over to Chandler Clark. Beautifully played by the Mingos. They were down and they came back stronger after that last fight.
Absolutely. We're looking pretty alright in order to try to make a comeback here, but a little bit of a disorganization, especially with Chandler Clark being able to come in right there and Plethora not locking down CCing. Chandler Clark, he was able to get his full combo off and just burst down Duckwin, so pretty unfortunate on that fact. And it looks like this mid lane tower might be also the next target here in order to go down. There it is, and seeing quite a game coming out from Mingos and UCO right now.
And yeah, a little interesting to see, to think that the Mingos planned on throwing this game. It does not look like they actually intended on doing so. They are playing a little bit very, very well, and this looks to be one of the best performances we have seen of them so far. They did lose a couple of objectives and they did lose a couple of fights, but at the end of the day, they came back stronger. They realized that they had numbers advantage. They used a couple of baits to turn the fights around, but right now, Nathaniel Laner might be in an awkward position as there's no one there to follow up, but he is Sejuani. He does have that tenacity. He can just walk around and he might be looking to bait yet again.
Absolutely. Let's see. Alright, so keep on going with this. It's going to be interesting to see how this is turning out here. We're moving over to this Infernal Drake, which is going to be our next objective on the map here. It's looking like a pretty hard fight over the UCO, but I mean, anything could happen. I'm saying this because we literally saw Mingos to make a comeback against Reign of Kings, and then for this split alone. So anything could really happen here, guys. So I'm thinking, so, you know, we'll just have to see how it really turns out here. If maybe UCO is able to bring it on around here. Plethora is looking down. Now let's see if we can move on forward, but they're just gonna have to forfeit this first Infernal Drake, making them on to Soul Point here.
And yes, UCO Broncos do have a better late game comp in my opinion. They do have the Yone, which is a beautifully hyper scaler that does have 4 kills under his belt. So Yone's gonna be doing some massive damage, and as soon as Pei gets on board, manages to even some of that CS out, it should be easier to win this game, to even it out. But as it stands right now, the Mingos are going for Baron, and Baron is melting faster than ice cream on a summer day. It's down to 6.5k already, and there looks to be no contest of it as right now. Void Seeker managed to land onto Rally, but they don't necessarily have any vision onto the Baron. Baron should be able to just fall down here. The Solar Flare lands, and a quick E from Yone goes over the wall, but he decides to disengage as the Baron does go down, and there's 5 members in that Baron pit.
Yeah, and at this point, it's really just, it is really looking like a game that Mingos lose out here. It's not something I usually like to say, but it's more so like this is in the hands for Mingos to lose. They have a lot of the right tools for themselves, and UCO Broncos are really just going to be trying to have to hold out, maybe look for some of these mistakes and try to capitalize off them, but there's not too much for them to do other than try to play a little bit safer. And just try to survive against this. It is quite a battle to really go against. It's for this team right now, but we'll have to see how it goes.
As it stands right now, it's going to be the Mingos with a nearly 10k gold advantage onto UCO Broncos. And most of the gold is exactly where they need it to be. It's on Chandler Clark's Tristana, which has 2 completed items, sitting on 2 components for 2 different items. I'm expecting to see an IE and a Lord Dominic's Regard here, but decides to pick up the 2 strongest components from each of those, the Last Whisper and the BF Sword. So this Tristana is going to be huge, and unless they manage to lock her down and take her out at the beginning of the fights are going to go over to the side of the Mingos.
Absolutely. I mean, right now they're just strong in my terms of just numbers. They have just so many stats in their favor here. Even just taking an E plus a double Q right there, taking a lot of damage and burning down as we speak. So it's not looking too great over the side of UCU Euros. They have Jazzman who's scaling
And they're
up, but
going
he's
on
not
to
necessarily
Chandler
at the
Clark.
2.
Okay, Cattle Boy might be looking for something here, but the range pushes him off. Those 3 members in the bot lane. We see a Nightmare going down. The Fate Seal managed to catch onto 2 members, but it's not enough to take them down. And it's Adam Suki picking this kill up. Meanwhile, on the top lane, they were supposed to go onto Chandler Clark, but he is this Tristana. He does have Flash. He does have the Rocket Jump, and he's able to walk away without wasting any summoners.
Are focusing over onto the spot side now.
Solar
So here
Flare
it
landing
goes.
onto Rally, but Rally has Black Shielded. The Encore managed to land onto 3 members. The clans have to go out by Duckwind. Duckwind looking to deal some damage, but he's chain CC'd by Gabe Conch. Gabe Conch will be falling down to the side of the Lilia. Lilia managed to pick 1 kill up, but they're going to lose 3 members. They're taking turns tanking this tower, and the tower is not taking them down. And Plethora will also fall down here. It's going to be the ace for the Mingos, and this should be the game-winning play as they are looking to just push down top and bot inhibs. And they do have 2 waves, and can potentially end if they so do choose so.
That is going to be it. I mean, Jazzman is playing pretty well right now, but he's just not scaled up far enough here in order to really do what he needs to try to carry this team. They aren't really able here in a good spot right now, so it looks like this is just going to be the end here. They are going to try to push
And
him
this
off.
is our last fight. The Tristana just ults him away, prevents any further engage, but it's going to be a 3v5 here in the top, and it's Pay looking for 2 members. 2 members are a little bit tanking. They do have that little bit of sustain, but they are too low on HP bars. Okay, Cattle Boy is looking to get 1 kill here, and it's going to be Pay falling down to Rally. Nathaniel Laner just sitting there letting himself die, emoting and taunting as he falls down.
But Rowley is going to be on the
Solar Flare
sides
goes
here.
down, manages to land onto Rally. Rally should be falling down. Duckwind does not land the shots from her Q, but a couple of autos should be enough to secure that kill.
Yeah, it is going to be enough here. They are looking at a really precarious situation because Dragon Soul is on the table here. It is spawning up here in about 15 more seconds. The only tower to their name now is this mid lane inhibitor and the mid lane, just the mid lane inhibitor tower alongside the mid lane inhibitor to really help them out. But I mean, taking the early inhibitor in a lot of cases is a good thing just because you'll able to get a lot of farm here. But right now, having a 13k gold lead over the side of Mingos is looking quite despairing over for the side of UCO Broncos. They are just in a position where it's not really that great for themselves right now.
And they're looking for the backdoor. 2 TPs going down there. The Encore managed to land 2 members, but it's going to be the Kill Instinct who secures the kill for Duckwind. Duckwind looking for something here, and it's going to be the Nightmare going down the darkness. The Solar Flare onto the last 2 members. They're just running it down, trying to backdoor. Not necessarily looking to have a fun game. Looking exclusively to have a fun game. Looking to end this first game in an explosive way. Chandler Clark sitting at 2 items. It is going to be the 2v5 situation as 3 of the members from the Mingos have fallen down. And what a way to end the game. What a way to try to survive the UCO Broncos keeping at their wits and barely standing with 1 inhibitor left in their base.
It is looking like it's here. Now, Chandler Clark is just going to be farming up here. I mean, they really just need to do like 1 mid lane siege or just top lane siege in any case. They already took down the mid lane tower, so inhibitor being the last structure available for them is looking very dire here. But we'll have to see if they're able to maybe turn it around for themselves a little bit.
I'm getting some intel. They are saying that Rally did make that call, did make that double TP into the base, the call to try to end here. And apparently Rally's just a bad player. And clearly he's a bad player because his team is about to lose the game over that play.
And we're getting right into this. It looks like we're going for a Baron fall here. And see. I mean, they have a lot of damage, so they have probably no issues with going for this. They have a level difference for against Pei, so it would be a quite hard smite in order to try to beat out there, especially with no flash available. But we're going to see Baron buffed up now, having the Dragon Soul, looking for yet another push over onto this mid lane here and see if they can go ahead and end the game.
And yeah, it's gonna be the Stormbringer initiating the fight into 3 members, and they're gonna be able to take down Dark Queen without a problem. Jasmine falling down next as well. And okay, Kettleboy is looking to stay alive, last member of his team, and he's just gonna walk away. The Ignite tick tick ticking, and it's gonna be the secure from the Morgana with the Ignite. This has been the first game. Nathaniel Lane has quit the game, and as they look to end this and secure the first win for this best of 3 series.
Alright. Weird. My game paused at this moment, but I think we all see what's coming up here. We do have respawn timers coming up in a little bit, so let's just go ahead. And no victory screen, unfortunately. But yeah, looks like the game has ended here. Let me just switch on over to this. Hello. And get rid of this so you don't have to keep hearing that noise. But in any case, congratulations to Mingos. You have won that first game here. And we're getting right into the second one here. Let me these guys go back in order. We'll be right back. I'm going to change out any scores we need to, open up any drafts we need to, and move forward to our third-party drafting system. But congratulations once again to Mingos for winning out that first game, and we'll be back with game 2. Hey guys, we're back. Just gonna pause out the music. Actually, I'm gonna, I'll leave it on, but keep it a little bit low. But we're back. Let's go, Dragon alongside my co-caster Kin here, and looking into advance. They already started off because just a little slow on the draw for clicking it. For some reason, the one I had was not working, but Kin said it's working for him. So in any case, I have another one. It's working this time, and we have UCO versus Mingos. UCO on the blue side this time, and we're already seeing this champion's picked up here. Sejuani going to be picked up for UCO this side this time around, which is going to be nice. Going to be if the Sejuani pickup is a threat and over for the side of Mingos, Sejuani is going to be quite a good call for that to pick up here. I mean, a good utility sort of jungler that is very tanky. Let's see if I can zoom this in at all for you guys.
And on the other side, they actually chose Olaf to kind of counter this Sejuani. Sejuani deals a lot of CC and a lot of knockups, but the Olaf, once he goes into Ragnarok, he's unstoppable and will kind of just negate all of his CC, like a very smart counter pick for the side of the Mingos. And I'm interested to see whether this Sejuani is going to go top like we saw last game, or whether they're going to decide to put it in the jungle where Sejuani is actually meant to be played.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see how that turns out here. But for now, let's see for the rest of these bans. It's going to be a lot of support bans out this time around for UCO. We're seeing Morgana, we're seeing Alistar, we're seeing Nautilus. 3 bans away for them, and covering the Yuumi. Oh boy.
And with Yumi comes the cat that doesn't actually have to play the game. I've had games where I pick Yumi right before I fall asleep. I just keep one hand on the mouse, program all my keys onto the mouse, and just play with one hand. But at the end of the day, they're not going to pick up the Yumi, and they're starting to hover over Tristana. So depending on what they decide to do, this might be a Vayne top or a Tristana top, or even a Tristana mid with an Anivia support. Mingo's throwing a lot of like flex picks all around the board.
Yeah, pretty interesting to see for the Mingos to throw on some of these flex pickups here. And there you go. I think you guys should be able to see this a lot better here. A little bit zoomed out. Maybe see if I can actually make it a little bit bigger for you. But in any case here, still looking really good. On both teams, really a lot of supports for UCO. We're seeing like enablers out the wazoo, so and not a lot of damage coming out here. I think this might be a Karma. It's either a Karma mid or a Karma top.
Or it could also be Machine Gun Lulu, which I would love to see. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Lulu Kog'Maw in the bot lane with the Karma in the top lane, as Galio is very much just the mid-end support. But it looks like there's 3 supports, and out of all of those, Lulu works best with Kog.
Absolutely. So right now, let's just go ahead and look at some of these teams or team comp over for UCO. We're seeing this is a hype. This is the comp that's really depending on it's like, all right, we really want to protect the Cog at all costs. We have Galio in order to come in for some peel. We're seeing Karma in here for big shields. We're seeing Lulu in here for some big shields. We're seeing Sejuani here for some big peels, and then Kog'Maw's here to do the rest of the damage. Pretty interesting to pick up a Kog'Maw here versus the Mingos. What do you think about it?
The Kog'Maw is going to be the funnel that's going to be the main source of damage here into the Mingos. And I'm not necessarily sure how it's going to play out. Kog'Maw does like do some massive DPS, but I don't think the fights are going to be lasting long enough for him to be enabled. The Mingos don't necessarily have too much tankiness. They're all about engaging, getting kills, and then basically getting out. Especially by picking up this Tristana and this Blitzcrank, they're just going to be looking for picks, while the UCO Broncos are going to be looking for this front-to-back team fight kind of composition.
Absolutely interesting teams we're going to be seeing, especially with like an Olaf over for the Mingos side. It was the first thing they picked up here, and I like the low Olaf pick because you just run at them. So if they can't stop you other than try to kill you, and the only one that can actually kill you right now is the Kog'Maw. So it's going to be interesting if a little bit of a DPS check coming out from Duckwind, seeing if he can out damage this Olaf in order to make sure he can stay alive here. There's a lot of damage over the side of the Mingos alongside the Blitzcrank to really secure the grabbing. Doesn't have an engage sort of support. It's more so I bring them to us. So it's going to be a lot of positioning that Duckwind has to be mindful of. But if they can pull it off, this is the ultimate protect Kog'Maw comp versus Mingos, which is high damage all around. Actually, no tanks. The only tank person is going to be Blitzcrank, and who knows? Maybe he's going to go AP too.
And I think the Blitzcrank is the most important part of the Mingos team composition. Blitzcrank counters all shields, and they have 3 shield characters. They have Lulu, Karma, and the Galio has his own shield, but he also provides an extra shield with his ultimate when he comes crashing down. And Blitzcrank can completely disable all of that. So honestly, my eyes are gonna be on this Blitzcrank and how he decides to utilize his kit to get rid of the um, enemy's shields, and who he decides to hook, how many hooks he lands, and how this game ends up turning out.
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure it's a range v range top lane, right? It's going to be the Vayne top lane versus Karma. That's going to be an interesting matchup just because, I mean, it's range v range, but Vayne, I think, has a little bit of the upper hand. She doesn't have the range as much as the Karma does, but definitely in the damage department, Vayne does come out on top here.
And actually, don't sleep on the Karma damage. Karma has really high space damage, level 1, level 2, since she can empower her 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 Q or her E with her ultimate ability, which is basically unlocked from the start. So if Vayne does not position correctly and gets caught out by these abilities, she's gonna be chunked down. So honestly, depends on the first 2 levels of the matchup here in the top lane.
That is going to be interesting to see how this matchup is going to go. And in mid lane, we're seeing Galio versus Anivia. They're both pretty safe, but one can roam a lot better. It's going to be interesting to see how that will all turn out here. And then for in chat, I am working on a prediction. Do you have anything that you want to see or want to try to make a bet on for this game here? Any predictions that you might have in mind for what we might see in the upcoming few minutes?
How many dives does each team do? Like I want to see like a total number of dives.
So we want to try to count who does the most amount of dives.
Yeah, who does the
Alright.
most amount of dives?
Who does most amount? And we're going to be trying to keep track of this, but if you're interested, chat, try to keep track as well as amount of dives. Let me write that down. We have the UCO over on the blue side, so I'll put them over there, and then Mingos over onto the red. And we'll do this for a solid 20 minutes. Solid 20-minute game. 20 minute for this prediction. Let's start this one up. Here we go. Prediction is online. We're in that spectator delay right now. I think I can show it. Yeah, you can kind of see it right here. See? Got the little timer. I'll move this right here. Well, you can't see it if I do that. But yeah, little timer right there. So you can see that we still in spectator delay. So pretty interesting to see banned out. Let's talk a little bit about these bans here. Say for starting off with UCO, respectable ban is the Nocturne. Just because he was such a nuisance, he was literally everywhere in that map. Your Morgana still respectable ban, and then the Hecarim is just a ban you see normally. But the follow-up bans with Alistar and Nautilus. What do you think about? They really have a fear, I suppose, of engaged sort of things, which makes sense because they did go for Lulu Kog'Maw. What do you think about the Mingos bans over there?
Oh, the Mingos bans, they kind of just banned all these like hyper carry champions, Vladimir, Jinx, Kaisa. Just they don't want the game to go long. They want a short and fast game. They want to go to sleep. They want to end off the night with another win in this best of 3 series. And the Rel is also like an engaged champion who works kind of against Tristana. The Rel can like stop all of the Tristana's movement. She can cancel the jump. She can pull the Tristana back into closer towards her. So by banning the Rel, it allows the ADCs because there's 2, there's Vayne and Tristana, to play more freely around the map.
That absolutely is going to be something to keep up here in this game. We're almost out of the spectator delay, and yeah, they did ban away a lot of heavy carries. We did mention earlier in the last one, they banned away the Vladimir because Jasmine is that Vladimir was sort of one trick, or not one trick, but it's something that he does main, pretty potent on it, and you're going to have to ban that one away. Don't want to be messing around with that. Very scary to see. And they couldn't pick it up during couldn't pick it up because it was banned away. Literally the first thing away. So going to be interesting to see how these teams are going to be playing out, because I really do think UCO with this Protect Kog'Maw comp is like pretty potent if they can do it right. If they can really do what they need to do and protect Kog'Maw away from all these threats. They don't have an assassin overside from Mingos, but they do have a lot of high damage.
And Yeah, as the spectator delay is coming to an end, we're about to get ready to go into the second match of UCO versus the Mingos. And I'm hoping to see game three. I would like UCO to step up to the plate and do show some explosive gameplay towards the end when Karma comes online. They are gonna have to play respectfully and try to like mitigate the amount of kills they give up towards the Mingos. But this Mingos do have a very strong early game with Olaf, Tristana, and Blitzcrank.
Yeah. And looking over at the skins here, I do see Papercraft and Nivea. I'm a fan of that. Also, more importantly, we have Pugmaw. I'm a big believer in the Pugmaw skin. I do enjoy looking at that one. Make sure that's disabled there. And get you guys a nice zoom out. And right about there. And let's go right into the game here. You want to go ahead and introduce this blue side? I don't think we did this earlier, but you want to go ahead and introduce this blue side to us.
And on the blue side, from UCO Broncos, we have OK Cattle Boys on the Karma top, running their grass for this potentially tank Karma. As his jungler, we have Pei on this Sejuani. Decided not to bring it top, throw it in the jungle where it should be. And Jazzman will be running Galio in the mid lane. Duckwin and Plethora are the bot lane duo, running Kog'Maw and Lulu in here for this very safe, very late game kind of bot lane duo.
Yeah, while over the side of Mingos, we have Nathaniel Lanier playing that Vayne in the top lane. Press the attack, a lot of damage, but we're going to have to see how it fares against the Karma. Adam Suki playing that Olaf, the unstoppable angry Viking in the top lane playing, or in the jungle with that Conqueror Rally in the mid lane playing that Anivia. And for the bot lane, we have Chandler Clark playing this Tristana, and then Gabe Skotsky playing some champion. I thought I also saw a Blitzcrank, but this could be, a violation against the rules. I saw a Blitzcrank in the draft, but they turned out with this definitely not Blitzcrank
Yeah, that's
champion.
not Blitzcrank. I'm not sure what happened here in Champ Select. We might have to remake.
Might be a bug, honestly. But in any case, we'll just continue on forward. It looks like UCO is going to be letting it play out as well. I mean, definitely not Blitzcrank, even though they drafted Blitzcrank. But in any case, they seemed fine with it. They didn't stop the champ select from going through. So here we go right into the game here. Make sure I have the sides right. Yeah, there we go. All right. Don't want to be trolled on that one. But yeah, it looks like it might just be
right now. The graphic glitch indeed has some now, but looking at the pathing right now, it looks like Adam Suki might be going for a top gank here, as he just has cleared his full top side and it's looking to rotate towards the top, but instead it's just pathing down towards his Raptors. Not necessarily looking to play as aggressive as I would like it to be, but he's playing the game correctly.
Yeah, I mean, Olaf is known for that big farming champion, so because he has such a good clear, because the lower he gets, the faster he can clear. Oh, grab.
The hook managed to land onto Plethora. Plethora just tries to walk away, and the Guardian should be proccing soon. Guardian procs and prevents the explosion from Chandler Clark's bombs from going off. But we see a stun coming down here in the bot lane. Rally winning the matchup that should not be won. Rally playing this very well into Jazzman. Jazzman's Galio should counter most mages, but Rally getting the winning side of that trade.
And then thank you for letting me know that Adam Suki's name is slightly cut off here. Now he's the Adam Suck. And I'll be trying to adjust that just slightly so we can get the rest of his name in. Hopefully I don't mess it up too much here.
Looking for a taunt here, managed to land it onto Pei, looking to do some follow-up. 2 procs away from the stun. And Rally has to flash away towards safety, but managed to get out alive.
Managed to make it out alive. I think we're cutting out someone's else's name here, but I don't think I can size it just right, just because, I don't know, the window is a little wonky here. Hopefully
Duckwin might be out of position here. He gets knocked up by Gabe Koshki. Gabe Koshki just looking to hold on to his pull when Duckwin is getting away. The pull does not come through, and Adam Suki managed to land an axe, but nothing comes of it.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, take your pick. Do we want Assman or do we want Adam Suck? I'll let the chat decide which one you want, Assman or Adam Suck, because I cannot fit the whole thing in there for whatever reason. I could, but let's see how this one goes. All right. And also, I have no idea who has currently the most amount. All right, so we're going to Assman. All right, we're going to Assman. So Let me make sure that is covered. So we're sticking with the Ass Man. And as for the prediction, this prediction will be going on until the end of the game. We're trying to count for how many their dives there are, but I don't know exactly because I haven't been keeping track. Hopefully someone else is in the chat. In any case, but yeah. Looking like no first blood just yet in this early game here though.
And no first blood as of now is just good for the UCO Broncos, as they do have a late game comp, so they're playing this very well. And the timer is kind of ticking for the Mingos. The Mingos have to look for an early play before the 20-minute mark, because after this 20-minute mark, if there's nothing really going on, Duckwin will have around 1.5 completed items, looking to work towards his second item. And by that time, he's gonna be huge with these 3 enablers: the Karma, the Lulu, and the extra safety from the hero's entrance that comes from the Galio.
Yeah, we will have to see. But this top lane is actually not going out that bad. I mean, only 9 CS down for OK Cowboys. It's going out pretty tamely. He is taking a little bit of damage here, but he's also trading out really well against Nathaniel Laner. Look at him.
Managed to land the root onto Nathaniel Laner, but Nathaniel Laner does land the PTA. PTA deals some extra damage, but he does not have the health bar to continue that, and he does flash the Mastery 7 for some extra BM as he does finish out that trade. And it's going to be the first dragon going over to the side of the Mingos. The Mingos might be in trouble here as Rally has to use the ultimate to slow them down instead of using it aggressively. Adam Suki pathing for that extra safety. That could have been a dive, but it gets cancelled by Adam Suki's presence.
It does get cancelled out there. But, I mean, taking up this first Drake, I think I'm actually able to reduce this size here, but I don't know, we might still have Ass Man, but in any case, I'm just going to leave it alone now. But, yeah, see, that still no first blood, but first dragon is going to be taking a little bit of the gold lead over for the side of them, but Duckwin playing honestly, he's playing a lot more aggressive than I would think that a Cogbo would technically do when you're going against a Blitzcrank, but I respect it, man. He's doing pretty well. He's getting able to step up a little bit, and Pei is in this
Pei is here. Pei is down in the ball lane, forcing the rocket jump away from Tristana, and the hook does not land, making this play end right there. Control ward being taken down in the mid lane, and ooh, he gets the 4th hit and takes down the control ward. That's 30 gold for the side of Rally, and another 30 after he takes the next control ward down. 60 free gold here as the knockup does not land, and it's going to be Rally using that wall to keep Jazzman at a safe distance, 6 feet away. COVID safe.
COVID safe indeed, and it looks like I did fits up Assman or Asman and Adam Suck. So looks like no one of the two, but you can always still refer to them one as the other. I don't know why my aspiration is a little different. I'll need to play around with that later because I also, if you look right next to Mingos, there's like a little bit of space right there. So I need to play around with this just a little bit later. But for now, we're just going to be chilling out here. It's still really long until we get this first blood. It's going to be quite interesting to see how either side really goes out for this.
And OK Cowboys on this Karma has picked up this component for what I assume is going to be the Moonstone Renewer. There might be 2 Moonstone Renewers, as there's 2 exact items for the top and the support. Wouldn't be the best use of item slots. I would like to see some more AP on one of them, but if it works, it works.
I mean, we might see one take Imperial Mandate, because I think that also builds out the Bindle Glass. So one might take Imperial Mandate, one might take the Moonstone Renewer. Or, I mean, there's nothing actually stopping them from both taking Moonstone, just because it's just healing. So you can always definitely just keep stacking up that healing and just try to heal for like 1,000,000. So, in any
Talk
case,
about how disrespectful Nathaniel was and decided to walk straight into the enemy jungle and steal that blue buff with the 3rd proc of her passive. Pei did not have Smite, so it will be going over to Nathaniel Laner, and it should allow him to play a little bit more aggressive, use his cooldowns a lot faster without having to worry about the mana. And as it stands right now, Nathaniel Laner actually just winning lane, and it is a Vayne, so she does have that late game presence as well. So the fact that she's not getting punished and is getting these buffs early is just so good for her.
It is going to be pretty nice for them to have. I'm still surprised there's not a single first blood here, and that's actually in favor for UCO Broncos because they are
and we see coming over here. Nathaniel Laner decides to use the ultimate using this Huntress to go towards them, but it's going to be the OK Cowboy just quickly disengages, walks away, uses that movement speed from his E to get away.
I want to say like the ulti for Vayne is like Night Hunter or something of the sort. Final Hour. There we go.
Final hour.
Yes, it's Final Hour because it's like a vampire hunting theme. Even though she's not technically a vampire hunter, she's just a monster hunter as a whole. But in any case, it is going to be the scaling game is a little bit in favor for the side of the UCO, but Mingos does have, you know, quite a bit of gold leads built up for them just by CS alone.
And Blitzcrank is looking for something right here. The hook goes long and it goes straight through both of them. As Pei is looking to counter gank here in the bot lane. There is ultimate on Adam Suki, so he's gonna be able to go just untargetable, unstunnable for a bit if there was an engage there. Good call for the UCO Broncos to just walk away.
But Pei is in the area. We still want to try to make something happen here, try to get some early kills. But Channel Clark sniffing it out, realizes like, something's fishy, and just gonna rocket jump on out of there. They are going to maybe look for a dive, so this would be the first
might be
for the
first
dive counter.
Game.
Yeah.
But no, the Mingos are going to respect that, going to call that, point that out, and just walk away, give up their minions and some turret plating, perhaps. But a little disappointing there wasn't a dive. Could have potentially been the first one of the game to get the ball running, but instead of going for the dive, they're going to go for this dragon, as they have noticed that the Mingos did reset after that potential dive threat.
Yeah, and as chat has pointed out, I think only one hook landed. I have not paid attention because I was looking at chat a lot, so we'll have to see, really. But Jazzman, just once again, just getting cucked out of his lane. He's stuck on the outside of it. He just wants a farm, man.
And Pi was looking for an engage here. Rally having to flash over the wall to secure safety. Jazzman reclaiming some control over his lane. He has been pushed out of it by the Nivea wall. And a little bit depressing, just not being able to get into your lane, missing out on some XP by an ability that you can't necessarily like push through. You have to like wait it out or flash over.
Absolutely. So we'll have to see. Gold lead
And
is
the top
actually
line, we're gonna land here. Tank landing onto Rally. Rally just committing to the fight, doing some massive damage. The electrocute does not proc. But he is a little bit both millionaires out of mana, and Pei is here to do some damage. Rally does not have flash this time. The sun will connect as soon as something lands, and something has landed passive. Ignivia is here, unable to do some damage. They are going to point out that Olaf is walking down, and Ignivia managed to hatch, managed to get alive, and like an Ice Phoenix, does not die.
Dies just yet here. It's 12 minutes into the game, but still a solid lead over for the side of Mingos. Thanks to them farming, they're seeing 15 CS difference in the top lane. Jungle, we're seeing 20 CS difference, but that's expected because of how well that Olaf can really clear as long as he's keeping himself low in the jungle. Mid lane, we're seeing a pretty big CS difference, but that's in Nivea as well. Unfortunately, Jazzman not having a lot of opportunities to try to use his ulti and try to make some things happen around the map. But they're playing for the late game in any case. Well, in the bot lane, we're seeing just about a 7 CS difference in the favor of Dublin.
And we might be seeing a dive here as the lane gank is coming through from Adam Suki, but Adam Suki is just hovering around here to secure the safety of Nathaniel. As Nathaniel does begin his recall. For Doc Win with his ultimate, managed to snipe him out, and in the top lane they want to do something to counter that. The Condemn pushes OK Cattle Boys to safety, and that's going to be first blood for the UCO Broncos without anything being contributed to the Mingos. And this might be a dive coming through. Duckwin dealing some massive damage. The ult Hugify manages to save him, and that's the first dive for the side of the UCO Broncos.
Yeah, well, we're counting that one. That was the first dive of the game, so that's 1 point for UCO Broncos and 2 kills over for Duckwin, which is what you love to see here in this Protect Cobble comp. The sooner he scales, the better he goes.
Rabbit tries to walk away, but Jazzman manages to connect it. Pei is here, and one more prog manages to land a stun, but it does not land, and Adam Suki is here for that protection, trying to escort Rally out, but Rally's walking back into lane. What is he doing? The Ragnar coming through. The Ragnarok does not even have to come through. He does not have it up yet, my bad. But they're just going to drop the Rift Herald on Rally, kind of baiting Pei to stay in lane in order to be taken down by Adam Suki.
Yeah. is going to be first tower gold, so it's going to be evening it out once again, 2 in favor of the Mingos, seeing that now gold lead is just about 1.5k in the gold lead, so it's pretty going
And
to be
Nathaniel Laner is looking for something here, going for last hour, dealing some damage. Massive third proc hit with the PTA, but she didn't have the spacing correctly, and OK Cowboys was in enough distance to just stay in lane without taking any damage.
Or he did take damage, but not too much. He is able to sustain himself right back up. He's not hurting too bad here, but ooh, good movements from Duckwind. We're looking for maybe an engage here for Blepper. He's really stepping up forward. No grab, no Ori.
And a game that did not seem to have many, that I honestly never would have expected Duckwind and Plethora to be the ones going for dives. Like, it's Kog'Maw Lulu. They're a safe lane. They're not necessarily an aggressive lane who wants to get as many kills early on. They're, hey, let's play back. Let's take a chill pill, and I just let them make mistakes.
Absolutely. What's Dragon spawning up here in about 30 more seconds, so if you want to take a reset before this Dragon spawns up here, now is about the perfect time to do so. Junglers have already done so, mid laners have already done so. Maybe not Jazzman, but in any case, he is taking his right now, so he's going to be a little late, but he has his ulti in it to get in there if a fight does ensue. But man, this hope coming out from...
You see another dive here. He just managed to snipe this out, does not even need to dive. And this should be perfect for the UCO Broncos. This is honestly turning out better than it should have been. Kog'Maw sitting at 3-0 as one of the late skating champions, but Ragnar coming out through. Does he have enough damage? No. Pei just managed to take him out as Duckwind does some massive DPS onto Adamsuki.
Yeah, absolutely. Able to just DPS down the Adamsuki, so this is a Drake over for their side. UCO is going to be moving on up to 2 Drakes for themselves, getting a little bit sustained in here, which is what you kind of want to see here because, well, one, the Grievous Wound is going to have a lot of value over for Mingos if UCO does manage to grab the Dragon Soul. The Ocean Soul is going to provide a lot of healing, so Grievous Wound is going to have a lot of value, but still, it's a lot of healing that would go over to the side of UCO, and you don't necessarily want that when the enemy's team comp is protect the Kog'Maw. If Kog'Maw can just heal all that up from doing damage, this is going to be quite a terrifying one.
And the first Moonstone Renewer has been picked up by OK Cowboys, and the items for the bottom item are also looking to be another Moonstone Renewer, so this might actually be 2 Moonstone Renewers for that extra healing, like you said, onto the Kog'Maw, who's going to be the main and only source of damage here.
And Glittering Gates, I have actually no clue if it's Broncos or Bronchos. It's spelt Bronchos, but I'm going to keep going with Broncos because I'm illiterate.
The Bronchos. And the Bronchos are in the lead right now, sitting at 2 dragons with... They're actually... Gold's pretty even, but they're sitting at the 2 dragon lead. And this is going to be the Ocean Dragon, so if they manage to pick up Ocean Soul, this is literally going to be game-winning for them, as they do have that extended fight composition, but they're looking to get collapsed on by 3 members. Olaf walking down, they will be spotted out by a ward, and Pei is looking to catch onto Chandler Clark, just hitting the bush, managed to land the knockup. The hero's entrance comes down for that extra secure, and the wall just cog blocks them all away from that fight.
Able to get a good disengage out here. Dragon's already secured, so not really much to fight for here other than just looking for a little bit gold for your pockets. In any case, speaking of gold in your pockets, let's go ahead and check out on everyone and see how their money is going. We're looking over from Nathaniel Laner. He has a 30 CS lead. He has a little bounty on his head, so that means, and rightfully so, he's 1.6 or 1.4 in the lead against his laner. In the top lane, he's farming up pretty well. In the jungle, we're looking at a 700 gold lead only. Their difference is about 20 CS. While in the mid lane, we're looking at an assist as well as 50 CS difference, so 1.7. On all of these in favor for the Mingos, but then we're looking over in the bot lane, we're seeing a nice 1.7 over for the side of Duckwind. Not going to be making up all the difference there, but still making up a lot of difference because it's concentrated onto this is Kog'Maw. We'll have to see if it really works out here because in this Protect Kog'Maw build. And then Plethora, since he's been around Duckwind so much, he's naturally going to be getting some money as well, having a 500 against Gabe Kachi. Kotsky.
And chat does have an interesting point. Why do you say Broncos like Broncos when it's spelled like nachos? So should we say Knockos or Bronchos?
Well,
A
I
little food for
mean, it's
thought.
like read, red, and then through, throw, or through. You know, there's a whole mug where it's like English is a hard language, but through thorough thought, it could be read. It reads and all right. I don't know the whole thing, but English is hard, and we decide things we like more rather than others.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I'm naturally a
Read
Spanish
and
speaker,
read,
and everything
yeah.
is just Oh, they're going to engage into Nathaniel Laner. Nathaniel Laner manages to land the condemn to the backline, but the taunt goes out, and he will be shut down by Jazzman. Jazzman picking up his first kill, saving Duckwind, who was slightly out of position, but they had the numbers advantage. And Nathaniel Laner going for this very aggressive push that ends up in having his team punished.
As for Halo fan, we did. Yeah, Riot Games thinking to put bounties when you don't necessarily have kills is a little bit one to do. I think they did it so they can try to. They say they do it for balancing reasons so they can catch up back in the game, but really they just want to do it so that it tips the scale a little bit. If we looked at the goal differences, there was a notable one in the top and mid lane for just CS alone. It was like 1.6 and 1.7, respectively. So there are some pretty big differences that you would have if you had a couple kills. So, in any case, here they had a bounty, not had no bounty anymore. Nathaniel did give that one away over to Jazzman, who has the Rocket Belt. I'm a fan of the Rocket Belt over onto Galio because it gives you that movement speed buff. Gabe throwing out a hook and actually almost landing on someone, so would have been quite terrifying to see. We'll see. Now Dragon is up. Everyone on Mingos' side is here, but
The hook manages to land onto a Plethora. Plethora might be in a tough situation. It's going to be the Ragnar coming out, flash over the wall. Now looking onto Rally. Rally down to less than half HP. He does have blue, but so he does have that extra damage. But Duckwin managed to snipe one, misses the second, and might be looking to just continue going on to Rally. This is a 4v5 situation. Nathaniel Laner comes down from the top lane, but the Dragon has already been started. The Dragon is currently being stopped by the Mingos. Mingos managed the taunt from Jazzman managed to be huge and onto two members, and now there's looks to be a bad fight for the Mingos. Mingos losing two members, but taking one in return. Now they're looking for one more, and this will be a double kill, a double kill for the side of Chandler Clark, a double kill for the side of Nathaniel Laner, finishing up with a triple kill, and Nathaniel Laner is putting the team on his back and getting that triple kill and helping secure this Dragon. They were even in gold, but now they're up nearly 3.2k. Beautifully played by Nathaniel.
and really nicely done by Nathaniel Lanier. He set up that flank from his side, and as you can see over on the paints on the map, there explaining on whatever happens here, what happened, what broke down in that fight. We saw that Nathaniel Lanier, he was in that little bush in the bottom side red jungle, so he was able to get a good flank off, killing out Plethora, which is a really important piece in the protect Kog'Maw comp. And since he was down, he couldn't get the ulti off, he couldn't get the extra attack speed over onto them, so he was unable to necessarily do that. And Chandler Clark and Jazzman over on the bot side, being a little friendly, you know, and just saying hello, doing a couple of emotes to each other. But
A little friendly, but Pay does not look to be in a friendly situation as he is going to be caught out by Gay Kotsky. The Rally managed to land the stun and walls him off. The hero's entrance comes down, but it's going to be the Ragnarok coming over from Galio. Should be running out to the taunt, managed to land onto Blitzcrank, but Gabe Kotsky just walks away, and they're going to be slowed by the Onivia. Onivia having that massive, consistent damage, but also has that burst with the Electrocute, and Nathaniel Laner is in this bot side of the fight, so if he decides to enter it, he can continue it, but no. Both teams just decide to disengage, and Nathaniel Laner just walks respectfully away, like like the irrational player would. But Duckwin looking for something here, maybe looking for the dive. Ooh, some
That's a
massive
lot.
damage into Gabe.
Absolutely, a lot of damage over onto Gabe here. He did not hook, so Duckwin really took advantage of that. He was like, "Hey, you don't have hook. I'll believe. And it really worked out. Had a recall there, so he's not here if they want to try to go for a fight. Duckwin doing some dodging, has so many shields, but And here comes a
Duckman is playing
fight.
like an absolute chat. Nathaniel Laner using the final hour to go into Plethora, but Plethora managed to be saved by the taunt. Jazzman managed to get a beautifully knock-up onto Nathaniel Laner. Nathaniel Laner is out of the fight now. Adam Suki no longer has Ragnarok. Is still waiting for it to come back up, but it's a 4v5 situation. They're going to look to push down mid. TP coming over from Rally as he did reset. He was very low on mana, and now he's back into the fight. The 4v5. Is this going to be a dive? Is this going to be the tower taking? But no, the disengage coming over from the UCO Broncos as they pick up 1 kill for their team.
Yeah, they are going to be disengaging here. Herald is on the table. Unfortunately, Scuttlecraft has already been taken up by the Mingos, so they're not going to be able to sneak the not Herald. It's Baron. It's 24 minutes of the game. What am I doing? But here it goes.
But they look at the Sejuani lands, managed to take onto the Navy out of position, and that's literally just the vision game. They were unaware of where they were. They thought they were at Baron, but they decided to walk down mid, get 1 pick before they actually started, and now they're looking to go on it. They have massive DPS with the Kog'Maw and the 2 Moonstone Renewers, just keeping him alive, keeping him shielded, keeping him basically untargetable with the comp that they are actually running. Baron down to 5k, 4k, going faster and faster and faster, and it's going to be like to be the steal here, but can they get it, can they get it, can they get it? They do not manage to see that, and it's going to be the guy who secures it, and another kill going for Duckwind, as Nathaniel Laner is looking for something here, but he's in a tough situation. Pi looking to turn this fight around, final hour coming down, but Pi will barely get out alive. The static shot coming out from Gabe Koshki, and Nathaniel looking to look for 1 more, but will get exploded by the Duckwind passive.
Is able to get on out of that one. So I mean, they have Baron buff still over on 3 members for UCO. Game is still fairly in favor for Mingos right now, just because they're just farming so well. Like look at Rowley. He has 100 CS over his laner now, and being able to keep up with this gold, staying really efficient with it, means that they are staying in this game quite well. Even though this kill difference is over on the favor, they have Baron buff over in favor of UCO Broncos. So right now, it's looking really intimidating at the very least when you're going against these Mingos. It's not over yet by any means. It's not over at all. Duckwind actually picked up the Mercurials because he is afraid of that CC chain that could possibly happen with Rowley. Actually, it's pretty much Rowley plus Nathaniel Laner whenever he lands condemned against the wall. Those are pretty much the only stunts he can really be able to stop. But in any case, he is going to be trying to stop that extra movement speed burst that you get from proccing the materials is going to be very useful indeed as well.
He's out of position. The hook does not land. He goes over the wall. Pi is one of the few members who can actually just play that aggressive. He does have that disengage, that CC cancellation. But right now, it's going to be the UCO Broncos who have the advantage here at the Dragon Pit, and they are going to be able to start it. Not sure where the UCO Broncos are actually looking to do anything here, because the Mingos managed to pick up Dragon here. Nathaniel Laner might be in a tough situation. He's heading down to less than half HP, sitting on 10% HP. It has to use the Blast Cone to get over the wall, but if you're going to give up Dragon, try to get mid lane pyro, try to get top lane pyro. Try to use the Baron buffs to your advantage, which is something that they are not doing. And they lost Dragon. They didn't manage to pick up a kill, and they now have to contest for mid and top pressure.
Yeah, they will need to try to contest for that. Baron is not on the table. We still have like 40 more seconds left of it, but we'll have to see if they're able to actually go for any sieges here. Jazzman is moving up to the top lane in order to try and make something happen. He has TP and he has his ulti available for any rotates needed. But we'll see if we get this tower.
Gets caught out, walks a little bit too caddy here, and this is going to be the dive, the unintentional dive coming over from the side of the UCO Broncos. Adam Suki becomes unstoppable, and Rally manages to pick up a kill here. Tower still stands, so it does massive damage, and Jazzman is saying the top side has managed to taunt the Vayne. The Vayne goes pop against this tank Galio, who has a little bit more AP than actual tankiness.
Yeah, this tankier AP Galio is going to be able to pop Nathaniel, and that's pretty good because he is able to match him. But now they have to worry about Chandler Clark, who's moving on over, split pushing in this bot side. Jazzman's already on it, but we'll have to see if he's able to actually stop him. Chandler Clark having a little bit more mobility than a Vayne does, so we'll have to see if it actually pays out for him just yet. And looking again at this farm game, it is something imperative. Farming is always important when you're looking at it. The Duckwind is doing a good job keeping up with with everyone in the game here. Rally, I want to say, is doing an immaculate job at this farming. We're seeing almost a 10 CS per minute right now. A little bit
And they
under,
might be
but
looking
in
for
any case,
something
good.
here in the top side. Pei is for half health, but she is this tanky Sejuani. They decide to disengage as they notice that they're being collapsed on Duckwin, not necessarily caring about tower damage, taking 3 tower shots and then taking turret down. They're looking to engage onto Adam Suki. One shot goes down, 2 shots go down, and both of them land. Third shot also lands onto Adam Suki. They're looking for the second snipe, but it's going to be Gabe Kachi who managed to land a stun. Glacial Prison lands into Gabe Kachi. Now Ragnar coming through. Here's entrance from the Galio. Galio looking for something here in the back line, trying to get rid of this Olaf. Olaf getting a double kill, but be taken out by Jazzman. Jazzman will be taken out by Nathaniel Lehner. Nathaniel Lehner again saving that situation. They were about to lose, even though they had full HP, but massive DPS despite not getting Baron. They managed to pick up 2 dragons back to back and win team fights that shouldn't necessarily been won just purely because of positioning and managing to extend them long enough to get the whole team there and get one pick, then another pick, and then just win it out completely.
What I do want to point out there, the big thing that made that fight, I want to say, is the Tristana ulti. Yeah, I know someone in chat also caught that, but the Tristana ulti was quite huge when you looked at it because he was able to hit not only Pei, but also hit Duckwin into the enemy team there. Pei, oh, just trapped.
Oh.
Yeah.
Duckwin gets caught out. Gabe Koski lands the hook, lands the stun, lands the knockup, and a sad day for Duckwin, running the carry for his team, but not being alive yet again. Playing a little bit too disrespectfully versus the Mingos.
Yeah, it is the downfalls of trying to play this Protect Kog'Maw comp. A lot of, like, pretty much your entire damage is going to be based around this Kog'Maw. Sure, you have
The hook
Jasmine.
managed to land onto Jazzman. Jazzman still has a taunt up, decides to walk away, and it's going to be another kill going down to Rally. Rally doing some massive damage, but it's going to be... Okay, Catapult is picking up a kill onto the enemy top laner. This is going to be the series 2-0 sweep by the Mingos as the UCO Bronchos try to do something here. Jazzman falls down as Adam goes unstoppable, and this has been the game. A 10k goal lead to end it off, and slow towards the beginning, but very fast paced towards the end.
Congratulations there to the Mingos. What a game series right there. That was that was a big one because I mean, even though the Protect Pokemon comp was actually working out pretty well, it's just like some of the farming did fall behind, so you just kind of got scaled thanks to just the really good farming that Mingos are doing all around the lanes, and having so much damage is a lot of threats that you're trying to protect Duckwin away from. So it's just a little bit too overwhelming for in order to do. Well played to the Mingos, really nicely done. And let me see if I can go ahead and see if we can go. We asked if they wanted to do interview at the end of the game, and if they want to, then no problems. In any case, I'm sure someone from there is watching, and if they want to, just drop into the stream rating room, and I'll drag you on over. But for that is going to be our gains for today. That was yeah, that was quite a showing to show. You know, I mean, Mingos did end up as an undefeated team over for the side of the Ascended Conference. So I mean, they're doing quite well for themselves, and they really just showed off why they are currently the top team right now. Let's see. So looks like we don't. I mean, no one's really joining right now. I'll leave it up for a couple more seconds to play on some music even too. Let's go ahead and just think about it. Actually, let's go ahead and try to finish off that prediction. So, from what I counted, it was 2 tower dives that the UCO Broncos did in that bot lane. At least two. I want to say it was 2. Because Kog'Maw, I mean, he killed them under tower twice, I believe. And then for the Mingos, it was that dive in the Nexus tower is the only one I get. Oh, looks like Amsuki's over in the stream winning, so I'll drag him on over here. Let's move him into here. Hello, hey.
Hey, howdy.
Hey, congratulations on the win here.
Thank you,
This is
thank
Adam
you.
Suki for anyone in who can't see us right now, but yeah, we have Adam Suki here for the interview.
And going on to the first question, honestly, I thought that the Olaf pick was really good into the game, but in that first or second dragon fight, it kind of seemed like you were useless. Like, what was your thought process in that specific scenario? Because, yeah.
Yeah, so we picked the Olaf early and then inted the rest of draft to make it a useless pick. It was just awful into their team. We had no follow up for the dive, so I kind of just ended up playing clean up Olaf almost, kind of sitting back, tanking some damage, and then, you know, Olaf grows stronger when he's low on health, so
Yeah,
just
I mean,
wipe it up.
you scaled into the game just fine as well. So like in the later parts of the game, you're just like a big threat in order to worry about in any case. So nothing too bad to worry about. Going into the game one, you actually did pick up the Sejuani top lane. Since you guys were to pick up there, and you know, I thought it was kind of a little bit of troll, but they didn't necessarily. But UCO didn't necessarily pick a someone to go against it, and they actually picked the Lilia as for their jungler to fill in there. Uh, and you guys picked up the Nocturne. What you guys had was thinking, it was like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and just think of it for a strong dive, and you picked up Nocturne, which was actually really good. You stayed around the map all around. Did you have a reason specifically for picking up Nocturne? You just thought it was like, yeah, this will be fun, or anything specific?
Yeah, it works well with the Sejuani because of her melee passive. Also, just think the champion's really good on this patch. It's good into Lilia, and we weren't really afraid of Pai's 37% win rate Lilia, so we really wanted them to pick that, and game went really well.
Yeah, worked out really well for you guys. You guys kind of just got a pretty good lead on yourselves, especially, and then snowballed it through because Nocturne's really good. I want to say he's like one of those late game assassins. He worked really well in the late game just because he takes up lethal tempo as opposed to like a lot of the other assassins kind of just fall off in the damage department. But let's see, and then
Yeah,
let's see. I guess you have any other questions for him, Ken?
Yeah, game two kind of seemed like y'all kind of like hit the brakes. It was a lot slower pace. You didn't. There was times where I felt like you could have punished the enemy for what they were doing. And as a caster, it honestly got a little bit concerning because their team comp just got a little bit better, having that Kog'Maw, Lulu, and um, Karma in the top. So it's like, was there like, hey, let's slow down, or were you just playing
yeah.
like normal?
So once our bot lane got behind, they had double TP where we only had one and a Galio, so we really had to pump the brakes because any play we tried to make would probably just be turned around on us. So we just kept building a farm lead in mid, top, and jungle, and just kind of scaled into team fighting better, which is kind of how Mingos do it.
Yeah, can you
Yeah, I mean,
congratulate Rally for me for hitting that Flame Horizon against Tajazman? Honestly, you don't
Wow,
really see it much, and it was beautifully done.
I will. Props to
uh,
Rally for that one. The man in the mid lane. We all rally behind him for those games,
nice
and he was
puns.
really popping off in that last game.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was actually landing a lot of stuns over in the Kog'Maw for the protect Kog'Maw comp, which was actually really important. It was pretty huge, especially with at the end uh whenever the Tristana landed the Buster shot over onto Pei and
Yeah, that was
Pei
a
brought it over.
nuts buster
Yeah,
shot.
whenever it hit Pei, but I think she flashed towards the Kog'Maw, so then it also hit the Kog'Maw. So then it knocked them right into Rowley right there. That was huge
Yeah, what a
for that last one.
delivery.
Yeah, absolutely. So what a
And
game.
speaking
Yeah.
of landing things, got to call out the God hand in the bot lane, landing
Oh
hook after hook on
yes.
that Kog'Maw when it mattered.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean like the one during the mid lane, he didn't land in laning phase. He landed one in laning phase, but hey, he hit the one in the mid lane, and that was huge. That was actually
Yeah, he
huge.
was warming up. Dude hasn't played Blitzcrank in months.
Yeah, he was throwing
Fair,
warning
fair.
shots, as Astro likes to say. He doesn't miss, he just throws warning shots. And he threw
Absolutely.
Exactly.
enough warning shots to hit the one where it mattered and ended up getting a game winning play.
Yeah, he was doing the psychological fight where he if you always shoot like you're gonna miss, they're gonna not try to dodge anymore. You know, they're just gonna think it's like, oh yeah, he's just gonna throw another bad shot, and then it hits you, and you're like, what's happening? So hit him with that. Thanks for coming in for a little bit of an interview on how these games go. You guys remain undefeated so far. Moving on forward to Semifinals, I'm pretty sure. I don't think you guys have any more games. I actually haven't checked the rule book for 16 player teams. I'll need to look at that a little bit later. But in any case, congratulations, keeping up your undefeated streak. And
Thank
moving
you.
on forward more, I'm going to be interested in seeing this. I'm going to actually try to do a little bit more of these interviews. Thanks for the idea, by the way, Nathaniel. Because this is actually pretty interesting to get a little bit of insight for the teams. But I think that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for coming in again.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
And yeah. You want to have anything to say before I go ahead and oh, he's already gone. But do you have anything to say, Kin, before we go ahead and close out the stream then?
Very interesting game two. Game one was a little bit one-sided. Game two was a little bit more even. But honestly, Mingos do have that statement. They do have that background of just dominating these games. They might have bad early games, but they're just going to completely come up towards the late game and just win it all. And honestly, they did not disappoint. Glad I got to catch this one, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we're going to be closing out the stream here. I've been Let's Go Dragon, he's been Kin, and we're going to be hanging on, closing it up here. We're going to be keeping an eye out. If you have a game schedule or you're trying to schedule a game for your quarterfinals, make sure you get those in. If not, I'll be filling in those days with some of the games from last week. We still have Plat to show, which I did promise is to show at least a PIG versus Reign of Kings. I got some information about Rob. I'll check those out later. But in any case, I've been Red Skull Dragon, he's been Ken, and we'll be signing off. Thank you all for coming in, and bye-bye.
Well, if you're wondering what's happened, so am I.